And you actually, you started theming your shows, which became, very important. And as you showed me this weekend, for those of you who haven't seen, Rick has copies of the scripts here from several episodes. And what they did was every episode had to have a name that somehow was P-O-G.
Yeah, Prisoners of Gravity.
Prisoners of Gravity. So every episode had to be titled somehow using those letters. So you would come up with some, and that had to be a pain in the ass at times.
No. That was the way to get started. So what was the, it would be whatever the theme would be this week. So it might be violence. So it would be predators of goriness would be and then the other thing that nobody gets to see, and it's a shame, is there's a slate that goes up. It's about 30 seconds long, and it's on the beginning of the tape. It's probably all digital now, but they had this thing so they could roll the tape in and a little beep counting down. For the tape uploader, an operator at the network. And every week, the editor, his name was Greg, the editor, would put the show together when it was done. And the editor, on his lunch, would sit there and create a piece of art of whatever it was. If it was this, and he'd do this whole thing up. There was this great image every time. It was hilarious what he'd do sometimes, grabbing clip art and stuff and putting these things together and putting them on the screen. And of course, the tape operator and the other person in the tape room got a big laugh, and that was it. No, it was the ultimate in-joke. So.
Did you yourself get to interview, like one-on-one, any of the guests?
Oh yeah. I mean, especially early on, I was doing my share, and then people were in studio for sure.
And again, you were also doing the Rick Green show at the time, so I mean,
and it was by second year it was starting to take off. Now that was getting busy, but the good news was the Red Green was shot mostly in the summer, and we started shooting Prisoners of Gravity, I guess, around mid-September. So there, it was crazy though. It was craziness. I had to be so organized, and so I'd take the train into Toronto each day. It's only a 20-minute ride from where we were living, and I'd pencil edit one of my scripts on the way in, pencil edit the second one on the subway up to TVO, and then arrive, and we'd go through. I'd get notes from everybody. I'd go off. I'd do my next draft. On the way home, I'd be jotting down ideas. By the time I got home, I'd be ready. I'd be writing, and send that off. God bless email, and back and forth. But it was crazy. It was like 5, 6, 7 days a week for years.
So when you were doing some of the interviews, when you were doing in the early days, I assume probably most of them were just when they were in Toronto. When it was probably
no, yes, somewhere. No, we got some because there were authors on tour. There would be anyone who published a science book. There were some movie people occasionally that were in town that we got to interview.
There wasn't a lot of big conventions even back, especially in Canada. There wasn't a whole lot going on.
We ended up, in the second season, we got enough money to send one of us somewhere. So Mark went to San Diego or went to wherever, and Greg would go to one convention. And then if there was something big, usually New York, they went together. But the budget just couldn't afford to send all of us. We did that once, I think, where 4 of us went. And that's where we had 2 cameras. And we had 2 cameras going, and we were going 9 hours a day for 3 days straight.
You went to San Diego, or you?
No, this was in New York City.
To New York.
Yeah, and it was. We came away with I don't know how many hours of material that lasted. That one convention set us up for most of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
There were a lot of them. Like you guys kind of take turns.
Yeah. So basically, it was like tag team, right? And then the next person would arrive, and one of us was running around to get. Somebody was out trying to gather the people up. Right. Let them know where we were. It was crazy.
Who were Who were some of your personal favorite interviews, or at least your most memorable?
Clive Barker was interesting. Clive was really well spoken and funny, and Neil as well.
Is Clive creepy?
No,
his stuff is creepy.
His stuff is creepy. Clive's, you know what? Clive's in the interviews anyway. I didn't do Clive's interviews. I just saw the finished stuff when we. But you got the impression of, and this is true of all the people who are successful. There's this delight in what they're doing. Because you gotta love it, or else you're not gonna get out in the morning and get out of bed and go do it. It's just easier to do other stuff than to risk ridicule. I mean, you're writing about, on the surface of it, what could be potentially seen as very stupid and ridiculous. People are traveling through time. No, they don't. It's like, You're already taking on more than any, a murder mystery author. At least it's like, well, could happen, and probably has, and so on. But you're already taking this leap into the unknown and choosing to write in one of these genres. And they used to anyway, have come with so much baggage. Now, half of the movies that are made are more, at one point we looked and said, you look at all the big blockbusters in the past 10 years, it's science fiction, comic book, fantasy, horror, Harry Potter now, and so on. So they're, I just liked when someone came across us, they were really serious about what they were doing and really thoughtful. And they could tell you why they'd done things and what had worked. I mean, there was always the magical of inspiration, but I loved this, or I thought that was great. When they admired other people's work, Harlan was hilarious. Harlan Ellison was so funny.
You've seen a lot of interviews. He seems like he's, I'm a follower of Peter David, and Peter David and Harlan Ellison are very close friends, and Harlan was his best man at his wedding. And the stories that he tells, Ellison's just this ham, total ham. And then you go and you see him on his university circuit, and he is this, overly verbose and very cerebral individual. It just almost seems like two different people.
Yeah, Mark said he's never seen someone pick up women so fast. The little guy walks in the room, and 2 minutes later he's leaving with a woman. How did he do that? I don't know, maybe they just went for lunch, but yeah, Harlan, what was neat about Harlan was the passion, the amount of passion, and there was a robustness to his view of writing that I really liked, because I'm so Canadian, so when someone comes up, do you have any advice? I'll be talking this afternoon later about advice, and I'm supportive, but I also get at some point that, here's what Harlan said when we're asking people, what advice would you give? And we're getting from people, well, I would say try hard. And for the artists, it was don't draw just other comic book pig, draw the real human figure. And then so we're getting all of this advice. And then I don't know if we ended with it, but Harlan, what would you say to people who would want advice? I tell them, don't bother, You can't get into this, it's impossible, and I do everything in my power to dissuade them, because everybody thinks they can do this, and it's really, really hard to do this. And everyone thinks they can, and it's just, it pisses me off, or whatever. It's so disrespectful. Do you know how hard this is to do? You know how many people in the world can do this successfully? And how many would like to? And he said, first of all, I don't want you taking bacon off my plate. He did this very phrase, I can't remember, but it's like, he says, if you're taking work away from me, he said, and it was really great, he said, if I can say anything that will dissuade you from spending 5 years of your life pursuing this kind of vague dream that you'd like to be, and I think as you said yesterday, there are many people who want to be an author, but do you want to sit and write? And we'd all like to be authors. I'd like to be president. Well, no, I'd like to be a millionaire. Are you prepared to do what it takes? And even if it never gets published, do you enjoy the process? Do you want to hear if you're writing for one person? And so he said that if I can dissuade someone who should actually be doing whatever, should be a doctor or should be a bricklayer, whatever their gift is, then I feel like I'm doing them a service. And he said, and if you are meant to do this, and you hear me say to you, don't do this, you're going to go, screw you, you old fart, I'm doing it. I'll show Harlan Ellison. He said, because if you're meant to do this, nothing I can say is going to dissuade you. And that's really interesting, because you got to have, at some point you're going to get rejection from publishers. Or, I walk in and with a TV idea and I get rejection from a network. And either I know people who have gotten blocked on, my idea, why didn't they didn't like it. What else you got? I got another idea, And, I think that's the other thing that I liked or got out of this, was out of the people like Clive Barker and Neil Gaiman, and people with idea after idea after idea after idea. The generating the ideas and that is very different from, and you got to just keep and be willing